For quite a while now, I've been a heavy supporter of the idea that it's not what you play, it's how you play it that really makes all the difference in your guitar playing. And the simple idea that I'm going to show you today really lends itself to that. Because we're going to take something really familiar and potentially add a new little spin on it. Something that I kind of started doing in my guitar playing, and it really helped me. So let me show you what I mean. So that style of playing is something that I've only really started to do, and it started with a very, very simple 3-note little pattern, which I'm going to show you now. And then it's about how you take that pattern and then how you navigate it and how you kind of build on it. So before this kind of gets too complicated trying to explain, let me just show you what I mean. I'm going to show you 3 notes now, but the notes aren't necessarily the important part. The important part is how we play them, as I said. So the notes that we're going to use, we're going to be in the key of A for this one, A minor. I want to play the 5th fret to 7th fret on the D string. That's the first 2, and then the 3rd note is going to be the 7th fret on the A string. And that's our first sort of batch of 3 notes. And you might already be thinking, that's barely anything. How can that help me? Stick with me on this one. So we're going to do the 5 to 7 as a hammer on. And then the 7 above it, we're going to play normally. So I'm going to hammer on 1st finger to 3rd finger. And then I'm going to hit the 7 above it with my 2nd finger. What I don't want to do is jump my 3rd finger up a string and do this. Because there's been a bit of an awkward movement between strings there, which is going to interrupt the flow. So, as I said, hammer on, and then play the 7. We bring this down a little bit more. So that's the 3 notes that we're looking at, but I want to build on that idea a little bit more. I'm going to slide from the 5 to 7 on the A string. And then I'm going to play that little pattern. And then what I want to do is I want to go back to the 5 on the D string. So I get this kind of idea. And straight away that sounds a bit more musical, and it sounds like I'm doing a little bit more. I've got slides, I've got hammer-ons, and I've got a bit of a back and forth thing between the strings, which just takes my playing away from sounding, as I mentioned in a previous video not long ago, too linear, where everything's just one to the next. In a pentatonic scale, for argument's sake, I'm not going straight up or straight down. There's a back and forth thing there, which makes it sound more musical. And I can repeat that phrase again. But the really interesting part is that when I then start to move about a little bit more, for argument's sake, I could then ascend that idea to the next strings in the pentatonic scale and get this kind of thing. So I did the hammer on the 5 to 7 on the G, and then I hit the 7 on the D, back to that 5 on the G. Exactly the same way I did. And what if I ascended that all the way up my position 1 pentatonic scale, A minor? That scale. And those extra techniques of slides, hammer-ons, and kind of that back and forth thing, honestly, it sounds great. But what I then started to do is just move that idea about as much as I could across the entire fretboard. Now this really helps if you know not just position 1 of your pentatonic in this case, but the whole spectrum of positions for the pentatonic scale, all 5 boxes. And this is something I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be making lessons about this here, but also on my Patreon too. If you guys want more guitar lesson content, there's going to be some more coming up on my Patreon. Make sure you check that out. The link is in the top of the description. But anyway, I'm going to give you a lick. I'm going to give you an idea, a phrase that you can learn in the key of A that cycles through a few pentatonic positions, but then you can then change the key of it or take it in your own different directions. Once you kind of get the idea, it's about using that 3-note pattern. I know I played 4 notes there, but one of the notes was a duplicate. That's the 3, and that's the duplicate. And I'm going to combine it heavily with slides, hammer-ons and pull-offs to sort of help me navigate it a little bit more. So here's the phrase, and we're still in the key of A, and it's going to start technically in box 5 of your A minor pentatonic scale. Let me play that slow. So you can see it's very fluid, it's very flowy, and it moves a lot across the fretboard, and it's using that technique quite a lot. To help me get through a lot of these notes. But when I kind of stumbled across this little idea, I really ran with it, and it really just sort of felt like a cheat code to me. And when I'm playing along to backing tracks and improvising and stuff now, I just feel like my improvising has got so much more flow and fluidity because I'm using this technique, and I'm not kind of stumbling my way up and down scales the same way. If anything, I'm kind of just moving through them really nicely. There you go, guys. Give that a go. Give that a try and see if that adds anything to your playing. A bit of flow, a bit of fluidity. I know I keep saying these words, but that's kind of what it did for my playing. If you did enjoy this video, guys, then don't forget to leave it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. If you're interested in guitar lessons, I teach online lessons. My email address is in the top of the description. But I'm going to be posting more videos like this, more guitar lessons going forward. So if you did like this video, then don't forget to subscribe also. And hopefully I'll see you in a future video, so take care.